Okay, so now let's start working on this Jumbotron. So you can change the text in here, and I'm going to zoom in on this so that you can see it. And I'm going to select my type tool, and I'm going to change it. And you can click this little thing or press enter. This has a warped effect to it. So that is this little thing right here. So when you click this little thing that has this little warp right here, you can move this around and warp. So you might need to modify this depending on what your word is here. So you can change it and then click OK. Then click on your transform tool, and if you get this little half circle, a quarter circle, you can move it around and make sure it's where you want it to be. Depending on the name, it's going to change it. You might need to resize this and make it smaller. So it just depends on your name. And it's the exact same for this one right here. So I'm not going to show on that one because it's the exact same. So, and that one is right here. So you can either turn it off. Another thing is you can change the color just like we changed it on the other part. So now you know how to change the color of the text. You can also change the font. Okay, so let's move along and add some pictures to this Jumbotron. This is going to be my center picture, so I'm clicking open. I'm going to come over to my Jumbotron and find middle photo here. And I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to come over here, right click, duplicate layer, and come over to the Legendary Dreams, click OK, come back over here, and it is in there. Oops. This light is the illusion of a glare on the screen. So you can turn that off while you're working on this, or you can lock it and so that it doesn't move while you're working with this photo. So I'm selecting my photo, and I have my transform tool selected, and I'm going to click Control 0. Now it's showing me the outline of my photo. So now I can resize my photo. Press enter and come over here and zoom in, and then I can resize it more. Control O, and just decide how big I want it. But you're clicking Control 0, not Control O, Control 0, so that you can see the edges of it. Then you can come over to this glare. Let's zoom in so you can see it. Then you can come to this light, it says light middle, turn the little lock off, and you can change the opacity depending on if you want to use it, or you can maybe even just turn it off if you don't want to use it. It's just to give the illusion that the screen has a glare on it. So that is how you add it, and you add it that way for every single one of these three right here. For the one down here, you're going to have to create a clipping mask. So I'm going to go File, Open. I'll open my photo. Come back over here and make sure I have the right layer selected. Just makes it a little bit easier. I'm going to do the left, this one here. Duplicate layer. Legendary Dreams. Click OK. Come back over here. Control 0. And I go ahead and click, I'm going to click Control G to group it. The other option is Layer, Create Clipping Mask, but this one says Release because we've already done it. Layer, Create Clipping Mask. So then when I click Control 0 with my transform selected, Control 0, I can resize this. And I'm having this go in big so that you can see what happens if it goes in too big, because sometimes that's, that gets confusing if it goes in too big and then you can't see the transform controls. Zoom in so we can see this. So you can put anything in there. And I see that there's a little problem because the blue is showing. So I can either move her over, or I could change the color of the blue to like white or match it in here. And so these can be changed to any color. If you double click it, you can change it to any color. So I want to also show you how to make this look like it's got that little bit of perspective. So let me show you that. Okay, wait, let me make sure I'm in the right spot here. Cancel. All right, I want this one. All right, so now I've got this one in here. Control Z to undo that. Okay, Control 0. And I'm going to resize, get this in here. All right, zoom in so we can see what's going on. I'm going to drag this down a little bit. There it is. You press Control down and you're going to just kind of line these up to match. So you see that what I've done is this is a line, and this is a line, and this is a line, and this is a line. So I am lining everything up and pressing enter. And then it looks like it has the perspective. So let's say you want to add a word. You can do the same thing. I'm going to click my type tool. I'm just going to come off to the side here and say hello world. And I'm going to grab my transform tool, move it over here, make it bigger, press enter. If I press and hold down my control key while I'm doing this, it automatically does this. Then I can add any type of effects that I want, like a drop shadow. So I'm coming to my styles and drop shadows, and I can add a drop shadow. Double click it, window, layers. So then I can modify this however I want. Change the distance, change the opacity, and click OK. So you can add your words, you can make changes to this, you can change the colors, lots of things. Okay, now let's add our player. File, open, and we're going to do this one that has already been extracted, and there's extraction information on this page. So there'll be a link below. So I am going to come over to my backdrop. I'm going to look for your photo here. Come back to my main knockout. Duplicate layer. Click OK. Come back over here, and you can move this around, and you can resize it the same way we did the other one. And another thing I like to do is add an extra layer. Below my player, come over to my brush tool, grab a soft brush that's large with a low opacity, and make sure it's white. White is on top, right here. And I'm going to make it bigger. And I just want to make a little bit of lightness behind her to sell the illusion. And then if you get too much, you can always undo or lower the opacity. Okay, so that covers all of the major components of this layered backdrop. I've showed you how to do a clipping mask here, how to change the colors, how to change this text, how to add text here, add a player back glow, insert your player, and change the bottom banner. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you got a little bit of something out of it. If you liked it, click the like button, and I'd love to hear your comments. Have a creative day.